we're going to fight those hot temperatures that's going to be in Vegas for FanFest with these cool predictions on your Carbuncle Chronicle. Hello and welcome once more to the Carbuncle Chronicle, your podcast for everything awesome in Final Fantasy XIV. Hi, I am Basil, and I portray a Lalafell summoner named 4K Rydiske.
I'm Anna. I play a Lalafell Reaper named Cormia Rydiske.
And joining us, now freshly walked to the end and then some. Hey, Tobias, how's it going?
Hey, it's doing pretty good. I'm Tobias. I've been on the OSMcast a few times, but this is my first time on the Carbuncle Chronicle.
Yay!
I play a Lalafell, sometimes machinist, sometimes samurai, sometimes white mage, but right now, primarily paladin named Manawai Silvestri.
Now, if folks have been listening to stuff on Tobias's normal Hangouts, the Third Impact Anime podcast, they've been doing a long-running series called A Grand Line Reborn, where Tobias has been reading One Piece, and a friend of the show, Bill, has been playing 14. So I'm glad that Tobias can finally now graduate to the big leagues of just talking about 14 in general. No One Piece required.
I'm not sure if 5 episodes is long running, but you know what? That's probably more than a lot of other podcasts. So I'll take it.
Hey, it's longer than Touched by a Duelist. We did one.
Hush. We did one. Look, I remember back in the day when I was doing the OSMcast originally, and there were literally like 15 different podcasts called OSMcast. And not a single one lives except for mine. So whatever, haha, suckers. I win. I guess maybe they found better things to do with life. I don't know. But
And I'm imagining the magic of the ends where it's like, I killed them all. I killed them all. Oh no.
yes, just like in that one dungeon. I'll straight up say now, folks, this is going to be one of those weird episodes in that it could be like the most spoiler-filled thing ever. It could also not be that heavily spoilery. I don't really know. So let's just assume that, critical alert, red alert, you're going to get spoils.
So, since Tobias has finished Endwalker and is almost current, we have to now change our Tobias-friendly tag to now say if an episode is either Abby or Hank friendly.
Or Bill friendly, if he ever plays again.
And Bill, yes. So I don't know how friendly this one will be to either Abby, Hank, or Bill.
Yeah. Well, I think that we'll look at predictions for sure. So we'll probably.
Yeah, there'll be a little spoiler.
It's been funny because the episodes that have been spoiler filled, Tobias unfriendly, like I've kept on the back burner in my podcatcher and maybe listen to the first half. But this past week, I've been gone through and just binged all of the Carbuncle Chronicles and listened to that. But I did have to pause in the last 20 minutes of the one where you guys had Alex from Critical Hit on because you started talking about Tataru's Granted Endeavor and stuff, and I haven't done any of that yet. It's like,
oh, those are good. Yes, those are a treat when you get there.
So even the ones that I'm caught up, but I'm not exactly caught up because I've only done MSQ. I still have Tataru's. I just hit Abyssos, so I'm not even done with Pandemonium yet. I haven't touched the Hildebrand stuff yet. I've decided I'm not going to do it on Sanctuary until after I get back from FanFest, so I'm sure there's tons of story in the Island Sanctuary, but that's going to have to wait.
Tons? No, but honestly, that's its own thing. Like that one, you just do whenever you can. Like, for once, I think I'm further along than Basil, and that's never happened.
But also Island Sanctuary, you're going to discover that's very much a listen to a podcast while you're gathering things for a while, because it's a lot more doing than a lot of watching, because a lot of it is very much more the Animal Crossing style. Gather things, now make your mammoths build things for you. So it's
Also, shout out to the Fuka's Discord and the Overseas Casuals Discord, because they do great. Like, they do all the work on how to maximize your workshop in Island Sanctuary. That's the only way I've been able to even get calories. Like, I've been so lax on getting the calories are the currency of Island Sanctuary, and that's how you buy the mounts and the minions and the music and the outfits and everything. And I finally have now caught up and bought everything thanks to their weekly recommendations. So, and we do have their bots in our FC Discord, so you can always use those.
Yeah, I noticed you added that, and I took a look at one of the pictures and have no idea what is happening.
I'll help you later.
I think that save that for later. You know, another thing that I still haven't done in 3 years of playing, fashion reports. I have not done a single fashion report.
Oh, this has been the weeks to do it.
Yeah, I do everything else. I do the chocobos. I don't do triple tread or mahjong because I'm too stupid for that. Too stupid for card games. But I do everything else, and I think I'm sitting at 1.5 mil MTP after buying some sort of stuff. So
Yeah, I actually just did fashion report because, as we were segue into, this is the last day for Make It Rain, and I needed to do this was the first week I just made sure, I just only did the 80. I didn't try for the 100 points. I just went for 80 because the 100 points, you had to go through Omega and stuff this week, and if you just want the easy 80, 96,000 with our buffs, it's just a dyeable chest piece, and you do Binding Coil of Bahamut turn 1 to get an earring. That's it.
I'll do that later. Yeah, so when people listen to this episode, Make It Rain has already happened. So hopefully you went and you made it rain.
And you remembered there was a quest involved so you could get your Goblet minion, because a lot of people have forgotten there is a quest involved with this event to get a special reward at the end. Also, I did not realize this, and I realized it within a few days of the event starting. And I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you did not get to do it. Maybe they may be added into the regular prize vendors. There is a one specific vendor for the event called the Campaign Attendant. And they have a couple of prizes that I believe are new that I never realized that I had never seen before. One is the Grounded Cactar, and it's a tabletop minion. It's basically a little potted cactus in a Sabatender pot. And that's a tabletop item. And they have some things from before, like there's the Senorita Sabatender, and then all of the sort of attractions. There's also a Moogle balloon. I don't know if this was new or not. I don't know when it was added, so I now have that in my house. But they've got the Cactor stool and table from previous years and some cards that are specific. So yeah, definitely check that out. Well, I'm sorry if you were hearing this now and can't check it out, but hopefully they'll be added to the regular prize attendance later.
even if they miss it this year, there is always, which if you're not really sure how that works, I think Carbuncle Chronicles did an episode just on the holiday events. A very informative primer on sort of when they happen, what to expect, and it helped me out for sure.
Yeah, so next time, folks, if you're not listening to our backlog for some reason, get on your Island Sanctuary, gather your stuff. But we're in like this weird like liminal space, because by the time you listen to this, Make It Rain is already done. It's been done. However, by the point you listen to this, patch 6.45 will have already come out, and you have played it, and so you've done more on it than we have as I'm about to talk about it. So we're getting more somehow further Hildebrand adventures, because Hildebrand can't stop, won't stop, no matter how much Yoshi P wishes they could stop. We're also getting more relic stuff, and by relics, I mean both the Geralt flavored weapons and the off-brand first Geralt flavored tools.
You have your tombstones of causality saved, because I don't yet.
Yeah, chances are we don't know for sure, because again, for us, the patch has not yet hit, but chances are it's yet another 1,500 Tombs of Causality for 3 tokens to upgrade your relics, because it's designed so that you can do stuff and get a whole bunch of relics versus working your butt off to get just 1 relic. We've also got
like 4 different jobs I'm trying to keep up with. So
yeah. No, that is specifically, I think, why they were trying something new this time. And I get other folks who are sad that the camaraderie you get from everyone having to do the same stuff, so everyone kind of knows that they're all in it together. That is very nice of a feeling. But I also get, look, we want to make sure people get these cool things. We spend a lot of money, effort, and resources into making these cool relic weapons with neat glowy effects. So we kind of wish more people would get them. And I think they also needed an excuse to make sure that they could spend the budget on making Hildebrand stuff, even though it's very popular stuff. We also are getting new variants and a new variant / Criterion dungeon, Mount Rokon, because they're constantly deciding more and more that dungeons don't actually have to be dungeons.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed the first iteration of the variant dungeon. And the Criterion, I got to the last boss of the Criterion dungeon and never got to clear it. I'm going to work on that later. But I'm excited about the new variant dungeons because that was a lot of fun to go through and do all the different paths and things.
Yeah, I think that's something that Tobias has yet to really do. It's something that you can do by yourself or with a group. And just the things that you do.
All I know is that Nanamo goes with you, so that's all I need. My best buddy Nanamo.
This time we get Hancock.
It's true.
Oh, okay.
Which is not nearly as good as Nanamo, but okay.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Mount where's Mount Rokon in the world of Eorzea?
Somewhere unauthored. Probably in Higinashi.
Okay. Well, I was thinking, like, we really haven't gone to Hingashi, really, except for the city, you know? It's cool to hear that it may be there.
Well, like, for example, in the substrates, and for the first dungeon variant / Criterion dungeon, it was the same place in ARR where you were running from, Ul'dah, because the Sultana has just been, poisoned and assassinated, and you're on the lam, and you've got to run through, and all the scions are disappearing left and right from you. And so it was neat to kind of go back through that area, but as like an actual thing you do, not just in a cutscene. And it also does a good job of giving you like backstory about Ul'dah and its stuff, but also in context of the storyline that you're doing with Nanamo. So it's a really neat idea. I'm really looking forward to whatever Mount Rokon has for us as far as that, because it should give us new details about authored stuff, and that'll be neat. Also, what's going to be neat is Blue Mage stuff. We're getting the level cap raised to 80. They're adding in new job quests, gear, Blue Mage spells. There's going to be a lot of stuff.
I'm really excited about this, especially now that we have a somewhat dedicated Blue Mage group, even though we've been on break for a little bit. That's going to be a lot of fun to go into.
So this is the point where if you are caught up on the Carbuncle Chronicle, and you should be, and thank you, but so if you are, I will also promote, besides A Grand Line Reborn, I will give a shout out to the Charlian Dropouts, the Axe the Blood Gods Final Fantasy XIV podcast, because it's their Discord group that we were running around for Blue Mage stuff. So, okay, Victor, here's your plug. Everyone should listen to your podcast. Like, and people should, like, it's good. And Victor is my kind of sicko, where he is doing these things that are essentially, he does audio tours of dungeons, where the idea is that you could start playing the dungeon as you start the dungeon, and he will go in and find facts and tidbits, and he'll look into origins of like the etymology of this word, what are the things in actual real life that influenced why they called this thing that thing.
Wow.
So they're like, no, it is extremely my shit. It would, Tobias, it'll also extremely be your
I'm
shit.
sure.
And now that you're mostly caught up, I would say it would in fact behoove you to go ahead and subscribe to that Patreon and get all the Charlie dropouts and listen to them, because you can, I think, aside from the one they've just done on the most recent set of Raids of Pandemonium, like, I don't think there's anything that you couldn't listen to, if my memory is correct. It may not be, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
I mean, when they started doing it, like I was started to listen to Axe the Blood God, and it seems like a great podcast. I just have too many podcasts in the back burner to really keep up. And because Charlie Dropouts went Patreon only, I just couldn't myself at the time bring myself to start listening and again invest myself in a podcast that I only actually get around to listening to like 10 years later. So, but it's good to hear though that they've kind of done that sort of lore stuff. That's something I've tried to find like on YouTube or whatnot. People doing lore videos or lore podcasts. It's been a bit of a challenge, honestly, to find audio cast on this.
Yeah, I know Rook does lore videos sometimes. I know she did some, especially right before Endwalker. And Ethis used to be our big lore guy, which I know he's not doing it anymore. Anonymous is also one to look into. I don't know what all he does. I know he's our current big lore guy in the community.
I think the problem I have with Charlie and Dropouts also is that they went straight into like, okay, we're gonna spoilers open. We're not gonna hold back, and that's fine now, of course. But when you're in the middle of like Heaven's Word, like I was when I first heard about it, there's a lot of material left. I really didn't want things spoiled for me at that point, so I'm sure it'll be easier now, and definitely we'll check them.
And if you don't want to spend the cash on it just yet, I know that they have also at the beginning of the year, they actually changed it again, where it's now they do 2 episodes a month, and 1 episode's on their free feed, and then the other episode is on their Patreon feed.
Gotcha.
I mean, I guess technically they're both Patreon episodes on the Patreon feed, but one's Patreon specific, one is free for everyone. And in fact, they now even have their own like separate Charlie and Dropouts feed if you just want the free episodes. So
You go ahead and have but yeah, speaking of the things I haven't done yet, Blue Mage, I might have to join to poke around the Blue Mage group and actually work on that as well.
Yeah, Blue Mage. Now, Blue Mage is kind of fun in that to level it, you don't level it like you would level a normal class. What you actually want to do is, and in this case, you're going to go to like one of the beginning, I guess, Endwalker zones, whether it's Labyrinthos or Favnir.
I think I jumped on me through one of the early ones. Not Copperbell, Temptar Deep Crowd. I think we ran me through once. And that's pretty much what we did. Just wait for the spell to go off and.
Oh yeah, that's how you get spells. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mind blast.
Yeah, like spells are the actual leveling of a Blue Mage. Like the actual leveling part is very almost perfunctory. Like you got to get the levels. Yeah. So do it, but the actual leveling of a Blue Mage are learning all the spells. That really is what you're doing to make yourself a better Blue Mage. Is you just get a better kit as far as spells. Still makes me mad that Yoshi P goes, yeah, we thought about doing like, I don't know, like a battle royale, like Fortnite type thing with Blue Mage, where we have all the Blue Mages fly in, they'll parachute in, and then they have to find Blue Mage spells and equip them and use them. And it'll be one big PvP thing with the confining circle.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that actually sounds really fun. That sounds like the best version of a Fortnite I've heard yet. And you're not making it anymore. Instead, you made Crystalline Conflict, which is probably a better idea overall. But as far as having like an actual living like PvP thing. But I really don't want Blue Mage Fortnite now. And thanks a lot, Yoshida, for putting that in my brain.
7.0 is just around the corner. And 8.0 after that. Never say never.
Yeah, we're still waiting on Blitzball.
That is where he's, I think, or snowboarding.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But we already see, like, in Deep Dungeons, the sort of notion that you lose your abilities but gain them as you progress. So, I mean, you say Blue Mage Battle Royale. Hell, why not make it everybody Battle Royale? I'm sure you could tune that to a degree.
Well, I think the idea was specifically that you instead of finding weapons on the ground, you found blue mage spells. And so that's what made it interesting, because there's a lot of weird stuff that you can do as a blue mage that absolutely can break the game.
Right.
Like, we were beating bosses using like, it was killing us to do it, but we were taking a boss from like 25% to 0% within seconds.
Because of Final Sting.
Yeah, because of Final Sting, but like we used like 3 or 4 spells that boosted the damage potential of Final Sting to be so high, we were doing just stupid amounts of damage all at once.
This is why when Moogle Treasure Trove happens, you'll see a lot of blue mages go into Light Coil, because they can get it done super quickly. It's the most efficient, fast way to earn those tomes.
So what you're saying is I need to do all the Blue Mage stuff before 6.5 drops, because we're supposed to surely going to get another one.
Yes, according to the
path.
10th anniversary site. It will be starting around the Rising.
I've got to find Final Stain.
All right. Now that we've done talk about all the things that we have just done or about to do, let's look even further into the future for FanFest. We'll be right back, folks. And we're back, and we're going to FanFest.
Going to Vegas, baby.
Oh man, it's gonna be so hot. It's gonna be so hot. It's supposed to be like 109, 110 degrees Fahrenheit. It's gonna suck as far as temperatures go.
And we're from the south. We breathe our water.
Yeah, like yes. Folks, if you're listening to this and you're going to FanFest, bring your water bottles and fill them up at all the various refill stations, and just keep chugging water. That is, the past 2 FanFests that Anna and I've been to, that has saved our lives. So yeah, that's if I had to give one piece of advice, that is the advice that I would give. And also enjoy it, because there's going to be a lot of things to do. Like, for example, we're going to have the big keynote. That's where Yoshida is going to come on stage and announce the new expansion.
Like, the very first thing they will show is a trailer.
So that's the very first thing when we get there Friday morning at 10 a.m., 11 a.m.
Yeah. We'll be there at 8 a.m. ready to queue in line, because other people have been there since 6.
Oh no, it's gonna be outside too, isn't it?
I mean, we'll see.
I don't know. That's the problem. Is our entire experience has been in hotel convention areas. So this is going to be a new experience.
But I still remember when the first FanFest we went to, it was the second FanFest. It was one where they announced Stormblood, and as we're walking into this gigantic room with like tables and chairs just everywhere, and it's playing the Ildishire theme, and it just felt so correct that that's what the music we were walking into, where I'm like, oh right, this is where all the sickos are, or all the fans, like, this is where all the goblins like us need to live, is in Ildishire, to learn about the new aspects of this game we love playing.
Gosh, we didn't know who Lise was.
Yeah, we didn't.
Nope. We're like, who's the girl in red? We don't know. It looks like Lise, but she doesn't have an arcane tattoo. What the crap? Who is this person? And he's like, you'll find out soon. And
Remember when we thought that was them announcing Dancer at first?
yes.
Like, because she was doing all the the swooshy dancey moves, and she's in this like flowing red dress, and then later on, we're like, oh right, that's a monk. Oh yeah, okay, all right.
Well, yeah, when they showed the Warrior of Light, with the monk outfit. We're like, oh, okay, well,
But it's going to be fun. We're also going to get a live letter for 6.5, and that's going to be fun. That'll be the next day. But there's also a lot of really cool other panels, like A Realm Revisited. It's going to be Aya and Danielle, Aya Montoya and Danielle Graft, and they'll be talking about how all the various updates that 14 has had over the years. We're getting beginning to the end of the annotated Endwalker, where it's going to be Naoki Yoshida and Natsuko Ishikawa talking about the creation of Endwalker.
I'm so excited about that one.
They're doing a cosplay walk. And then the big thing for Saturday after all that, or Friday. I'm not going to... Victor?
Don't pull Victor on me here.
You're right. On Friday is the piano performance by Keiko. And for one, Keiko is amazing. If you've not heard her play, you should. And in fact, you already have, as she does since, I believe, Stormblood. She has been the person playing all the nighttime themes that are just piano. Like, that's actually her. And they actually now get her to do the concerts, for 14 for FanFest now. And this is also where Soken's going to come troll us.
The last 3 concerts, the last one was obviously the Lahi with the automaton. The one before, which was our second FanFest, was the Yansha theme on the automaton. And the first one that we went to was Lost City of Amdapur with the microphone in a box. And him wearing Athian robes and a toy piano.
Yeah, it was good stuff.
I know, that means Friday we're going to be pretty much in the same room, but scrapped into the same seat for several hours.
Here's the thing with that, and you can. That is definitely something we most likely will be doing. There's also going to be events throughout the area. I don't know how they'll do it. They've had like a couple of rooms before, and then it's also been in like one big room before. But they will have other events going on while the panels are happening. And in the past, they've had monitors. They've been streaming the panels to those monitors. So you could also watch those while going to do the trial challenge. Or they've had mini games for like the Gold Saucer. They've had a fashion report. They had the Eureka challenge last time. They've usually had some kind of trial roulette wheel that will happen. So like they've got other things that you can go do, and they're going to have probably a big photo op area as well, because last time it was Kugane, and then you had a giant Aetherite, and before we had a giant Chocobo, and the fat Chocobo, and so there's going to be other things we could be doing while the panels are happening, so you don't have to be sitting the whole time, but it just depends on what you want to do.
The first...
Exactly. I mean, kind of like the end of that, though, is that like everything that day intrigues me a whole lot.
Like, the one thing that I may skip out on might be the cosplay walk. And even that's a maybe, because the 14 cosplayers are really, really good.
Like, I'm really excited to see Melinda's machinist. Like, I've seen so many pictures of people. There's one person that I saw post on Twitter that's going to be Janelo, the esthetician.
Oh, okay.
Nice. And it's also one of those things where FanFest is just a different feeling thing, where like the three of us, we've gone to anime cons for many, many, many years. We've probably been going to anime cons longer. I know for a fact that I have gone to anime cons longer than some anime fans have lived that go to cons now. But there is something different when it's all just about one subject. So every single cosplay, it's not do I recognize it, or is that just Genshin? No, it's every single thing, exactly what it is without even having to think hard about it. They're like, oh, damn, that's Elise. Oh, damn, that's a summoner. Oh, damn, that's the Gaius. Ah, damn. Like, oh shoot, that's a Meteon. Like, it's all there. That's a Y'shtola. Like, it is all there, and you recognize it, and they're all really good because everyone's bringing their freaking A+S rank game to this thing to show off and stunt with their cosplays, and it's a thing, especially for like the cosplay walk itself. Like, it's gonna be good, but I'm also gonna get hungry, so that's gonna be the real question.
Yeah, I was saying like 15 years of Anime Con going. I think I've gone to maybe one cosplay skit contest thing, and it's just not really my thing. But yeah, even just seeing the cosplay at Animazement and the pictures you sent me from OmoCon, I think is being a fan of this game in particular unlocks a sort of weird section of my brain where like I this is awesome, man. I love seeing 14 cosplayers, so I definitely see myself actually sitting through my second cosplay skit walk thing. Second time
Like,
in my
the
life.
real trick is going to be, like, now the secret might be what we may end up having to do is, like, for example, we're all going to be there for opening ceremony or for the keynote and opening ceremony. Like, that's going to happen. Like, I get that.
Oh, yeah.
Then people are going to start breaking off after the opening ceremony to go do other things. And that's when we have the chance to maybe find closer seats for a Realm Revisited. And then there's also, but then there is a 2-hour break between a Realm Revisited and beginning from the end. So I think we have like an hour before we have to go back and find seats again. But that is more us actually planning on the episode that we probably should plan like when we're there. So Saturday we're getting again letter from the producer live part XXV. Is that 20, 38, 28? Anyways.
No.
68, 58, 112. Like, he's done so many of them.
50, 70, 78.
Yes,
I think.
I think you're right. There's been a lot of them.
I think
it has been a while since I've had to decide.
Wait, I'm adding. I left off the L 78. I was like, wait, that doesn't look right. 78.
Lixby. Let's just call it Lixby. It was last time was Lixby. Now it's Lixby.
Then after that is the Crystalline Conflict Regional Championships 2023 North America. If you're into PvP, that's going to be really fun to watch. I am not Frosty, who is already going to be probably a caster who's calling it while it's happening.
She's who runs the world race.
Yes. Frosty is
okay. Just making sure you know who that is. And Brian Ricardo, he does a lot of PvP stuff. Like they're very well known with the PvP community, and I think it'll be fun. I'm excited to see it.
Like that one's gonna be cool. That one I could definitely see. That's the one where we go do like the event stuff while watching it like being casted to the various TVs. But the other one I'm really looking forward to is Speaking the Language of Creation. Because Kate Sinar who is the actual now current English localization lead. Like
the current pun master.
Yeah, she's the current pun master. She took over during Shadowbringers because Koji went to go work on 16,
which has had its many damn it Koji moments. So he is still on form.
But Kate's real good, and so and the Koji panels are always like a high point. So the Kate ones are gotta be a good one too.
I mean, Koji's gonna be there for some reason.
It's what it says on the website.
For some reason.
And Matt is also. I love Matt. Matt does a great job moderating these panels. Like he and Koji's energy are great. So I'm very excited. I'm excited to see Matt again because it's been a while.
And then it all wraps up with the Primals live in concert. There is just no better way to end a FanFest than a Primals concert.
Literally the one reason I'm going to this trip in the first place. I could miss everything else, but I'm not gonna miss this.
No, as I've talked to Anna before, I get that there are only so many tickets they sold for FanFest. And I understand that there are so many more people who play this game and who want to go to FanFest who can't, and that sucks. However, I also know that for a fact that for the keynote and for the Primals concert, they know that every single person is going to be in that room who bought a ticket. Everyone. And so they have to be able to fit all those people in a room, and there aren't that many rooms that big to hold enough people.
So I've got a question for you guys that have been there. How is it seating there? Is there like a mosh pit sort of deal? Like
There was in the past, there has been sort of a mosh pit type deal in the very front where you can stand. And it's not huge. Like there is an area that they did remove seats. But there are seats that you can sit in. Most people, I sit like about 50-50. It just depends. But I mean, there's just some songs you have to get up and jump. Like we're bringing our glow sticks from the previous FanFest that we went to. I'm working on a cosplay for it. We'll see if it finishes. So it's a concert. Like Basil and I were talking the other night. Like my nephew just went to see Blink-182. The energy is very similar in that you have people there that know every word to every song, misheard lyrics or not, because we don't know some of the words. But everybody's into it. Like they are so into it.
Oh yeah, I will definitely be one of those people. I want to line up early if I can, because I'm going to be in the mosh pit for sure. I'm going to blow my hearing out by the end of that evening. But yeah, I've been dreaming about this for 3 years now. So
like I guarantee what's going to happen is like I guess I've never noticed the mosh pit because
we've never been that close.
I mean, we've gotten pretty close before, but the last time we did wasn't as close. And it really is they're just lining everyone in, and you're just filling up the seats as it is. Like you're not going to be able to. Like I forget if they might even end up doing a room clear or something before the primals. Like I'm not sure if you can like hunt seats ahead of time. Like I don't think this is one of those things where you can wait it out. But
it looks like there's a 2-hour gap between the last one and that, so I'm sure they have to set everything up for the band. So surely they'll clear their.
And so we'll probably end up standing wherever we end up standing, and even if there are seats. For the majority of the time, people stay standing through the whole concert anyways. And the seats are really just there in case you fall down.
I mean, if you need it, yeah. Like, this will be the first year I could probably stand the entire time, which I'm very excited about. But that's also, remember, day 2 of walking probably a lot for a convention area. So your legs might hurt by that point.
Yeah, for sure. I'm certainly getting older. As I've noticed the past few anime cons I've done, you have to take things a little slower sometimes. Not that I'm falling down or anything, but it's noticeable for sure. We said our hotel is pretty close to the convention center, right?
It is connected to the convention center.
Great. Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a change of clothes between con stuff and concert stuff.
Well, the concert, the Primal concert and the piano concert, those you don't really need to change anything for. Like, people will be in either cosplay or regular clothes. Like I may wear my plan is to wear a leopard outfit, which if you've done the Tribe Quest, you won't know it yet. So, but we'll see. And that one could be an all-day outfit, or I could just change later.
I think for me, it's more of sitting all day in Las Vegas weather. Now, granted, it's going to be air conditioned, but still being at a.
Yeah, it will depend on if we leave for food or anything, which from what I've seen, we may not have to, because I know that they're planning on bringing food in, which they've put in their guidelines and things, and there's a Starbucks, and there's, I think, some restaurants in the convention center itself. So we might not have to be out in the heat much.
I fully expect by the end of the concert, though, I'm going to be, for instance, completely ruined.
So I legit might end up doing, especially depending on how day 1 goes, I may throw a stick of deodorant in my swag bag, like going to the convention, so that way, because something I usually do at Anime Con is a few times a day I will go refresh my deodorant just to make sure I don't stink.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of walking, it's a lot of people, there's just a lot of general heat.
Mm-hmm.
And so I like having dry pits for when I'm at cons, and so I don't smell.
But like, you don't want to be that guy. There's always that one guy, and you don't want to be that guy. So even if you need it or not, you want to make double sure that you're not that guy.
But I could definitely, see, having a stick and hitting the bathroom real quick to refresh before, going to do something else may not be a bad idea now that I'm thinking about it. Even though our hotel is probably as close as you can get to the convention center. I also know I got to make room to have all my nice clothes for the Eorzea Symphony, which is happening on Sunday, which is not technically connected to FanFest, but it pretty much is a new end cap to FanFest.
And I know we've talked about on the panels and things, but there's a couple other things that will be happening during FanFest. Or not during FanFest. It will be happening prior to FanFest, but in accordance with it is the video and art contests. The finalists should be announced tomorrow, possibly. And there will be finalists for the video contest, which I believe they're picking 25, and then there will be 200 finalists for the art contest, which is, I believe, 25 from each category. Which is there's unaltered and altered screenshots, like art, like drawn art, and then physical art, and the finalists should be announced. They say possibly tomorrow, depends on if they get delayed. And everybody that plays 14 will be able to vote in those contests prior to FanFest. And then the winners will be announced probably at FanFest. There are some amazing creations, screenshots, hand drawings, physical things. I'm excited about the video contest because they've not done a video one before, and knowing the sheer amount of talent we have in the community for videos, I'm very excited to see those. So definitely check the FanFest website and any of their social medias to be able to go vote on those. FanFest is so much fun. It is such an experience every time. And I'm getting to meet some of my raid members, some people that I've talked to for years, getting to meet them, getting to see friends that we haven't seen in years, like Cass.
Okay.
It's going to be a good time.
Like, I'm hoping to meet some of the Blood God folks from the Discord. If we're really lucky, maybe we'll get to meet Nadia. It'd be nice to actually meet her like in person after so many years. For me, it's a case of I've been following Nadia Oxford's stuff for longer than I've been into 14. So for me, it's more of I can actually meet Nadia for once. Like, we used to be on the same forums together.
Oh.
We follow each other on Twitter and Instagram and stuff. Like, technically, I'm friends with him on Switch, but me and her, we've never actually met. So it'd be kind of neat to actually meet her for once.
But all right, do we want to take a quick break and then do predictions?
My prediction is that's a good idea. All right, we shall return with our predictions, what 7.0 just might be, here on the Carbuncle Chronicle. Okay, folks, we're back, and here are our predictions for 7.0. The next expansion, it's going to be called Waffle Farters. I don't know.
Beginning Runner?
I feel like this is the first time I've not heard of a title being found through copyright. Now we didn't know Endwalker for sure last time, but Stormblood, I think we knew before we went in. Like, someone had found it, and we were pretty convinced Stormblood was the name. But usually some name is floated around the community at this point, and I have not heard anything.
Yeah, not lately.
Because we've done the day cycle. So is it a new dawn, which has been a patch? A new, it could be something completely different because we, with Realm Reborn and Heavensward, I think we went through the day cycle. So I don't know if they'll want to just go back around or if it's something completely different.
Yeah, I don't know. There have not been any recent trademarks that I know of a lot of them were actually done by Square Enix's thing. How is this for? I guess they're for Britain, but I don't know. I really don't. I know that it's probably going to be like a combination of like two words because we've had Heaven's Ward, we've had Storm Blood, Shadow Bringers, and Walker. So it's probably that because they mentioned that they want like that. That's what they want for a expansion name, and something a little smaller, like a more phrase like to the far edge of fate or whatever is what they use for patches. So I guess we shall see.
And we don't have it in our production notes, but another question that could go along with that is, what do we think the main job's going to be? Like this, for Endwalker, we had Paladin. Shadowbringers was Dark Knight. Stormblood was Monk and Samurai. I mean, obviously, whatever new job, one of the new jobs probably will be a focus, but what do we think?
Yeah, I mean, the only job that has been new that we got for the iconic has been Samurai with Stormblood. The other ones have always been other jobs that just happen to be relevant to the content, whether that's Dragoon, Dark Knight, or even Paladin. So, I think, honestly, it's like the most boring answer, but I have, negative predictions for 7.0. It could be literally anything, and I don't want to, we're going to Mercidia. We're going to see Mercidia. That's almost too obvious, But other than Mercidia, it could be, it's so weird because every other expansion has been built off the previous one. And the patches have sort of tied you into that, so it's a little easier to see what's going on. But with the 6.x patches, they've kind of been telling a new thing, a thing that we're probably going to wrap up to some degree by the end of the patch cycle.
Right, and Yoshi P mentioned 6.5, something earth-shattering is going to happen. And that's what's going to get us into 7.0. Yeah, something major is going to happen in 0.5. We just don't know yet. Obviously it's got to go something with the 13th. Whatever that storyline ends up finishing or continuing, obviously that's
I'm thinking,
kickstarted.
Just kind of throwing it out there, I don't think we're going to beat Zeromus in 0.5. I think we're going to fight him, maybe. But there's going to be some Zeromus aftermath that continues on. And since we know that Mercidia fell because of the Allagans summoning Void Sun, like Cloud of Darkness, that's the impetus I think that we're going to get into Mercidia. The war is going to continue, and maybe that means that Allagan shit comes back. If we're it's always Allagans. It's always Allagans when you can't explain something. But we're going to get yet again more Allagan stuff in Mercidia with whatever happens with the Void Sun in 7.0.
We've got our to-do list from Hades, but we've done some of it. So there's obviously Mirror City was the big one, but there's things on there that I guess we'll get to.
It could be whatever happens in 6.5 before I can even begin to protect, because it's gonna however we wrap up the Dark Throne and all the Golbez stuff is really gonna change what we lead into with 7.0. And with this being, they wanted to do a new story arc, and with a lot of conjecture that this may be a new onboarding point for new players rather than having them start with, ARR. Yeah, that opens up the door into more stuff. How would we do that? How would you mechanically and narratively allow that to happen? So there's just so many. I'm just shrugging over here. I don't know. It could be anything.
I mean, we do have a few clues, especially from 0.4 with the Smash invitations.
Oh man, they're they're the most vaguest clues because Kryle has a Smash invitation stuck between her copies of Encyclopedia Eorzea's.
She's a proofreader.
We've got this mystery client that Thanker and Uriandri said was recruiting Archons for some reason.
Yeah, Uriandri is yo, thouest dog, you gonna be ride or die with thine? And Thancred's hell yeah, dude, I'll ride or die with thine. Like, so it's something's happening, and they also mentioned,
Aaronville.
was it
Yeah, Aaronville's.
Aaronveld? He's having a homecoming, and
That,
he's
that just
a
hit
male
me when I thought about that. Like,
funny
so
guy.
maybe we're going to Dalmasca? Don't they come? Don't VR come from Dalmasca in this setting?
But yeah, like I was looking through the Encyclopedia Eorzea's like earlier today, and sure enough, Dalmasca is on the map, but it's under the clouds.
Mm-hmm.
Much like how Garlemald and Thavnir were under the clouds up until recently.
Exactly.
So that could certainly still be a thing. I would also point out that, something mentioned was, Corvos.
Yeah, Corvus.
Which is where originally Grahatia came from.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is going to be Final Fantasy XIV Homecoming with Graha and Aaronville.
And Spider-Man.
It's going to be Spider-Man. Spider-Man will be in the next expansion. I'm calling it now.
That's how we get Austin to finally play this game for reals.
That's gonna be the new class, Spider-Man.
We've now seen stuff from the Northern Empty, but we could also see things from the Southern Seas, which we haven't really gotten too far into. And there's also the New World, which is where Blue Mage and the Malajals come from. Like, who knows? Like, what? There's so many places they could go, and that's not even including other shards.
Yep.
Yeah, because there's still a lot of story left.
And because I am a complete ancient nerd, what happens when the Unsundered start getting reborn?
No.
Because I believe La Habrea is not in the Ethereal Sea. I believe Themis is, and Hades. So and Hythlodaeus. And all the ones from Zodiark. Like all of this.
Hythlodaeus is not unsundered. The only ones that are Hythlodaeus is totally sundered.
No, he's not. Every single one of them that was sacrificed to Zodiark were not sundered. They were sacrificed prior to the sundering.
Well, the problem is that Zodiark himself was sundered. So what happens to all the...
Were all the souls... That's a question. Were all the souls sacrificed to Zodiark sundered when he was sundered?
And that's what I was wondering at 6.4 is like you get to the red moon, the another moon, and like Golbez mentions there being a big void sin sleeping there, which is kind of it's sort of implied that's whatever the 13th Zodiark is, which you reactivate and that becomes Zeromus, which makes me wonder what other Zodiarks are there. Are we going to see like the 4th Zodiark, the 6th Zodiark later? Like,
well, see, now that's my other question. Is I thought I could be incorrect. I thought once Zodiark of the Source was destroyed, all the shards of Zodiark were gone.
Possibly, yeah.
Because what happens on the Source happens in the shards. So that is my question. Because Golbez says that he used the Aether from Zodiark, so he may have been able to do something when we defeated Zodiark. I don't know, or just residual Aether. So that's why I'm wondering would all those souls that had been sundered come back together and now are not sundered in the Ethereal Sea? Are they still shards on other... So could we run into another Hythlodaeus somewhere?
That's an interesting thing.
When would we? Is this something for a later expansion? Or is this for a later MMO? Because I've kind of... My dream would be to get like a Final Fantasy, I don't know, let's throw one out in the future, 18 or 20. And it'd be, because I know Naokishida said he wants to do one more MMO.
Oh.
He wants to really take all the lessons he's learned from 14, and he wants to give it a shot one more time, but now with the chance to actually make his own from scratch. And I think it'd be really kind of cool if they did one like, set, 1,000 or 2,000 years into the future, long enough that Eorzea can be vastly different, but still somewhat similar. And that's when you can bring back stuff like, the next iterations of Hades and Hythlodaeus.
But wouldn't that defeat their purpose wanting to get away from people having to play the current Final Fantasy.
That's the problem for whoever's making the next Final Fantasy. Not that's the problem with Final Fantasy 17. That's not the problem with Final Fantasy 18.
Yeah. This is Basil's hypothetical Hypodeus problem.
Yeah.
Hypo. Yeah, no, it'll be interesting because they've built these characters up. We've seen Assault, it's the new fan favorite. You talk about Hypodeus and all these characters. It is, they had a great ending, but it is, it would, I could see them bringing them back for other reasons, and this does open the door for them to do that. I don't know. Part of me hopes they don't, because I kind of want to move away from. We've told the ancient story. I would love to see 7, 8, 9, and 10.0 as the next thing, whatever that is. Maybe that's rejoining the shards in a healthy manner. Maybe it's whatever the hell we're going to get with the 13th. Who knows? But I would like to see them sort of take a seat to the side for a little bit. Like, surely we're going to go see them later. We're going to go to Opus or Opus 2 or whatever we see later. But I do kind of hope that they're kind of relegated to the side a little bit.
Yeah, I really don't think we're going to the 13th. Like, I don't think the 13th's a problem that we're going to solve in this patch or even the next expansion. The 13th kind of has to exist for black mages to exist.
Yeah.
And if you get rid of the void, then where are they going to get their power from? Because their power is clearly coming from the void. Like, it's like now, that isn't to say they can't work their ways around things. And if I've learned anything from Ishikawa and Banri Oda and all their writers, they're very good at recontextualizing things, if not straight up retconning things in such a manner that it still makes sense when you played it originally and when you see the retcon happen. So I say all that, and then they totally fix the 13th. But and still somehow keep the power source for black mages intact, and Void Scent are still... Yeah,
it's a big old question mark, which is kind of like, we can do some conjectures and whatnot, but at the end of the day, one thing I've learned from Final Fantasy XIV is that they're never going to do the thing you expect. Like, they completely throw you curveballs, and then curveball the curveballs, and then build on the curveballs in such a way that anything we guess about what happens at 6.5 is not going to come to fruition. Whatever we think 7.0 is not going to be the case. Whatever class or whatever job we think is going to show up, we can just throw, guesses into the wind, but, it could be just anything at this point. It's so wild to think about the potential for this game.
Speaking of the new class, I am on the train that whatever it is, Cryal will be it. Because they have talked about Cryal is wanting to become a bigger part, like more involved with, being in things with us. Because this whole time in Endwalker, she was like, I can't. I don't have the skill. I don't have the ability to go with you all. And so I think whatever our new class is, she's going to be it. And it might have something to do with the invitation she got. Maybe it's not that. Maybe that has nothing to do with the mysterious client. Maybe it has to do with someone, wanting to teach her job.
Absolutely. I see you mentioned Geomancer here, and that's been kind of my guess too.
That's been one that's been floated around for a long time.
What do you think Geomancer would be though? Like, maybe go back to like a full dot mage, maybe, what Summoner used to be, but more.
Maybe I don't know enough about it personally because I'm a terrible Final Fantasy fan and I haven't played everything.
I mean, like they completely, like, Sage was a Final Fantasy class, but like they completely changed what Sage is in the game itself. They gave it pew lasers and they just call it Sage. But like Geomancer, it's like Earth magic, but they could go ahead.
Well, sorry, they have covered a lot of what Geomancer is in the Astrologian quests.
That's true,
especially in the later ones, because they involve Geomancers.
Okay.
And so Geomancers really are, as far as I can tell, the DPS inverse of an Astrologian. Like, it is like, whereas Astrologian, quote, gathers their powers from the stars, and geomancers gather their powers from the earth, but it's in a very similar manner. And their one is just like one, one's the light, one's the astral, the umbral. Like it's
Gotcha.
So
it could end up being kind of like what Bard and Dancer are, just in a caster form, like in that, like Astrologian. Astrologian gives cards and buffs to everybody currently right now. We don't know how it's going to change, but so it could be a new support class essentially.
You know what I want?
but we'll have to.
I'm going to put this out there. This is I have a thing. So we have 3 roles in the game, right? Tank, healer, DPS. DPS has like 4 different sub-classifications. Like you have ranged and physical and magic, and maybe that's 3, but still, you've got 3 different subdivisions of DPS. Healer, you still have 2 different subdivisions of healers, but you only have 1 division of tank. And I want to see a magic tank show up in 7.0. Give me a magic tank, whether it's Mystic Knight or whether you make Geomancer a magic tank. Maybe something that's not armored and powerful and bulky, but like uses magic to tank stuff. That's the kind of weird stuff, like Sage's pew pew lasers and the Reapers summoning void sent things. Like that's the kind of stuff that I want to see come up the game. Give me weird stuff. Give me divisions for tanks now, rather than just doing sort of the same thing. Give me one that does something wildly different.
Yeah, Basil, you mentioned black mages would lose their power if we did something at 13th, so would Reapers.
Yeah, you're not wrong. We're kind of really connected to the void. Like the 13th kind of has to be the 13th for that to work. Yeah, I don't know. Like I always thought, I still think chemist, like not alchemist, but chemist would be a cool healing class, healing job that could be played not dissimilar to like say ninja, where you're having to like hit the buttons to like in certain combinations of ingredients. As like you wouldn't have to like hold on to it like actual reason. You wouldn't have to like gather or anything. Right. They would just be like command buttons like you would like for ninjas and their mutras. But that would be neat. But I'm pretty sure we're probably going to see DPS. Like I think they finally have healers pretty well balanced. They finally have tanks where they feel they're pretty well balanced. I don't think they want to rock that boat too much. And I could totally see, like, I don't think Dragoon shares gear with anybody.
Reaper.
I don't think. Does Dragoon share gear with Reaper now?
Yeah, Dragoon and Reaper share gear.
Okay.
Ninja is the only one that does not share gear, other than accessories.
Oh,
there you go, Ninja. Like, so I could see something that shares gear with Ninja, which could be a Mystic Knight. Maybe Mystic Knight does share their stuff with, because there's also a case of they've got to figure out mechanically how they're handling their gear.
Keep in mind that there's 2 jobs every expansion, so whatever there's going to be DPS. Obviously, there's always a new DPS, at least one. I think Stormblood was the one that got 2. Stormblood got Machinist and Samurai, right? No, Machinist was Heavensward.
Yeah, so Heavensward was Machinist, Astrologian, and Dark Knight. Stormblood was Samurai
and Red Mage.
Red Mage.
Okay, so that got 2 DPS. Right.
Yeah, so we may get, like I said, we may get 1 job. That wasn't going to be a question I was going to ask, because do you think we'll get 1 or 2 jobs? Because Yoshi P has said before, like, it's getting to the point we may not be getting that many jobs from here on. Just because there's, for someone like me, who does all 90s, that's a lot of jobs.
That's fair. This is why we need to settle this tank issue now. Give me another division of tank.
And again, the biggest problem is that, you still have to, no matter what the tank is, it has to get the same gear as all the other tanks. And I don't think they're going to introduce a whole new set of kind of gear for tanks. Now, visually, with the weapons and stuff and how the abilities look, that can be, in its playstyle, can be completely different. But the armor that you're going to put on them will still be the tank armor. So there is that. And again, with Sage, with the laser, fin funnels, going pew pew pewing. Like that's a whole different look than any of the other healers have. So you can do a really unique weapon, and it doesn't really matter what the armor is. So it's quite possible. But yeah, I think we're going to see something that's going to share gear with Ninja and then possibly one other class. I have a feeling they're still probably going to still do 2 jobs per expansion. I think they need that for having the 3 FanFests, because we get the initial set of announcements. Like we're going to know where we're going in theory, at least to start with. And we're going to get to know the general thrust of what's at least going to start our adventure. So we're going to know that going into from FanFest. But things like, and also we might find out like what's the 8-man raid, what's the 24-person raid,
Or at least a theme.
Or at least a theme about them. But the job, and we'll probably get a T-shirt that Yoshi is going to wear at some point during the weekend. That's going to be our clue as to whatever it is. Which I still remember he was wearing a Spider-Man shirt, which was referring to Sam Raimi, which meant samurai. So, and then I think there was like, I think that the other one was he wore like, what was Reaper was like some like.
Yeah, for Reaper he wore a shirt that had a scythe on the back. It was like a Grim Reaper type thing, I think. He did wear a Bugs Bunny shirt once for Vera.
Yeah.
We might hear something about female Rothgar at the keynote.
That we probably will. Well, because we know for sure they're going to unveil the new graphical update.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Like they did announce that they are working on female Rothgar. They are, because they announced that along with having the male bunnies. They were like, no, you're going to get your lion ladies. Don't worry, y'all. This is freaking hard, and we need more time. Now, I think after this, we're not going to see a new race ever again. I think the races that we have are what we're going to have.
I think maybe sometime in the next few patches, when the story, I think we'll see one new race. But I agree that we're not going to see a whole lot more for sure.
Oh, I think we will see other new races. I don't think they'll be playable ones.
That's possible. I mean, we're going to have to get tribal quests somehow, right? Like, that's just become a part of the game is tribal quests. So, yeah, what are you going to do?
Well, like for example, a race that was very underutilized overall in Stormblood was the Lupin.
Oh yeah,
We've got a whole race of like wolf folks.
Yep.
That are just kind of there. They didn't really do much with them, but they're there. They exist. So I could see that being a later on, sort of tribe thing. Maybe some new zone will have more of them, and they can actually do their own thing. But yeah, things like Namazu and the Loporrit and stuff like, like we're going to get other like body types and the Matanga. Like, I just think as far as playable races,
yeah,
I think what we have now, once they include lion ladies, that's what we got.
Yeah,
because it was like the things that take the most work from them figuring out is overall are races. Because they have to make all the gear sets work with all the races.
Gotcha, yeah.
And that has been the hardest thing for them to do. I mean, it's probably have so much issues with freaking like hats on Viera and Rothgar, is because the meshes of the heads are just so much different than all the other ones that they just have a real hard time making his hats work with how the graphics are currently being implemented. I do kind of wonder, and this is another big brain, more of a wish than anything else, is that this graphical update will do something to help them just be able to let Rothgar and Viera wear more hats.
And now maybe we can get child models that aren't just Alizon rescanned or made shorter. Everybody else, they can have things like that, or we get the Scions actual like models based on what. Aren't they? Isn't the big tree enemy like? Isn't that just like a normal player model, just stretched in weird proportions and stuff like that? I remember hearing a lot of these weird things they've done to make some of these models in game that kind of baffle me.
I know, like, I mean, for like Vieira were like this weird like amalgamation of like Makote and Elizin that they were taking one part from this and part of the like stretching, squishing, to make them work.
Right.
So yeah, like they're dealing with 1.0 spaghetti code even now, and this is an engine that started off on the PlayStation 3. That's still having to do the work now. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff they got to deal with that it's just old and crusty, and it's amazing everything gets to be as new as and looks as good as it does.
But speaking of completely out there things that I want but probably will not get, I want us to explore new zones in current areas. I want to see Hingashi. Like in ARR, we had 4 zones for every little city-state. We explored every inch of Eorzea at this point. And even like Heavensward, we got to see several zones just around Ishgard. But starting with Stormblood, they really consolidated these areas into smaller like zones. Like Almeo gets 3 areas. All of Othard gets like 3 or 4 total. Like 3, right?
3.
And like we haven't seen Dalmasca, we haven't seen anything like that. We saw Garlemald gets 1 area to its whole self. Razahal makes a little sense because it's an island nation, but I would love to see another Garlemald area. I would love to see more of Othar in general, even if the Garlemald area is like Corvus, like you mentioned earlier. Like I think that would work. I would like to see them go back. And everyone's excited about going to Mare City, a new world, and I'm right there with you. But one thing I liked about ARR was I felt like I was exploring a real space, a real fantasy space, because of these myriad areas for all of Eorzea, and I just don't feel like we've gotten that level of variety since Stormblood, really. I would love for them to go back and explore that a little more. It will happen, but I love it.
Well, one of the things I think also really worked for Shadowbringers was it gave them an excuse to do Eorzea again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where it was just new interpretations of places that we've already been. But because of that, they were still also able to give all the detail to them, especially since they were able to have the excuse to, shrink it down to just those key areas. But I do think it is an issue with the existence of Eorzea being a really well-designed continent, and the rest of the world just isn't.
Yeah.
And like, Isambard, we get Fafnir and we get Garlemald. And you're right. Like there should be more, to probably even both. And chances are we like all the expansion stuff will probably be other side content. Like, for example, when we got the Garlemald dungeon, where you got to go explore that little area where you saw the sort of the home base of the Reapers.
Yeah.
Shoot, freaking. I'm still a little salty that they took the entire nation of Ixals and they just made it a dungeon. Like that could have been its own zone right by itself,
exactly.
but they knew that they weren't probably going to do anything with them major in the future, and they could get away with just making it a dungeon. And I have a feeling that's what we're going to see more of, which is a shame because I would like to see like Dalmasca as its own thing. Like I don't know if Alamigo really needed 3 areas.
I think it should have done that. I think they could have fleshed it out a bit more, but I understand why they didn't and combined the 2 nations. I think they could have made Alamigo a little cooler. Like they did with Ishgard. Ishgard is just snow, right? But they gave it, Sea of Clouds, they gave it Churning Mist, and, Idleshire, the old Charlian colony. Like, they could have done that, I feel like, if they had given themselves the space in Alamigo. But it did come across like, okay, well, we're spending half our resources to do Fantasy Asia as well on the same patch.
Authored really feels like it should have been its own expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Like as far as like the physical locations, like as Authored is one of the 3 major continents of Aetheris. Like it's Eorzea, it's Authored, and it's the New World. Like those are like the three big land masses. And the fact that we only have 3 zones out of Authored does feel not good.
Like Yangsha is like the equivalent of China, right? And China is like one of the largest geographical areas in the real world. Yangsha is like one zone. What? That makes, I guess you could say Azumstep technically is close enough to count. But no, like I want to see more of that, you know?
I mean, Azumstep is in fact, part of Authored. Like that is part of the world map, is that. But there is just so much of it that we haven't really seen. Again, Dalmasca is like almost a third of the continent that we haven't seen. Now they've covered a lot of it. Like, for example, the Burn is actually a good chunk of the continent. But there's also things like the Dalavan Grath, which is in the northwestern extremes of Authored, that has like a tribe of hunters that are relatives of the Zayla, that abandoned Azumstep in the past. Like that's actually in Northeast that we've never gone to.
There's got to be a reason that Gaius was out there. Really, like he sees hunting Ascian.
Yeah,
but like surely there's more. We could poke that story beat a little more. Why was the area in the Burn? What's past the Burn?
Right.
I don't think anyone will be upset with more Gaius.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't.
There's also like Noxia, which is in the far eastern corner of Authored. Like there's a lot of stuff that we have not gotten to yet in as far as that goes, and that's just in Author. That's again not kind of the New World. That's not kind of the other parts we have not yet really seen in Thavnir. Like there's a lot. There's a lot we can go to just in this world that really needs to be poked and prodded. And I do wonder if we're getting a more globe-trotting expansion. I could see that being what they do. Like for example, I feel that Heaven's Ward and Shadowbringers were more centralized, where we were just doing Ishgard and areas around Ishgard and Heaven's Ward, and we were just doing, the first and that areas of Norvant, like, in Shadowbringers, whereas both Stormblood and Endwalker were more globetrotting, where in Stormblood we were going to Alamigo and we were going to Authored, and we were sort of bouncing between the two. And then frickin' Endwalker, we're going to the Northern Empty, and then we're going to the Isambard, and then we're going to the Moon, and then next thing you know, we're going to Elpis, a whole different time zone, literally. And then we shunt off into the end of the universe. Like it was just going just everywhere. We're just ping ponging all around the map.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of guessing that what we're going to probably see, if the current centralized expansion, world hopping expansion, centralized expansion, world hopping expansion, I could totally see like picking like, let's really just dig deep in Mercidia, or let's dig deep into the New World and not hop around a bunch of other places. Yeah. I could see, that could be the focus of like the explorable zones. And then if that's what they're doing, seeing things like Dalmasca could be yet another exploratory zone, like Eureka and Baja, which is technically part of Dalmasca. They could do like raid series that send us off in these other places. Like there's things they can do that isn't just exploratory zones. One of the neat things again is about Mount Rokon and the substrate, for the variant Criterion dungeons, where you have a chance to explore different areas, but in a different way. That's not quite just an exploratory, exploring a zone, but you still get to learn about the world.
Exactly. No, big old question mark. It could be anything.
Yeah. Well, I'm also curious, something I put in the thing, because this is something that Anna's brought up to me before, outside of the podcast, is does the level cap hit 99 or do we actually go to 100? Because in a lot of RPGs, such as JRPGs, you only go to level 99. But I know for a fact that, in Final Fantasy 16, you beat the first game, the level cap hits 50, and then when you play what they call Final Fantasy mode, which is like the extra hard difficulty, where they add in a couple of new mechanics for enemies, and they even do like different enemy arrangements and levels, it raises level cap to 100. So,
and I believe Yoshi P has said before that the level cap will go to 100. So I think I think it will be 100.
Yeah. I get that it would be cute to make it level 99 and a throwback to like the old 16-bit stuff. We're going to go to 100, just like we're going to go to 110 in 5 years, and 120
if they went to
99,
that would, if they went to 99, that would just bring about the whole conversation of, oh, this is over. 14's over. They're ending it. No.
I mean,
I do wonder if we'll... I do wonder at some point we see a level squish.
I mean,
that's kind of what I'm thinking. If we do go off the assumption that we're going to have a new player jumping on point, what's the point of bringing in the level 90? Honestly, it's a big number. They're having to learn all these abilities. Granted, the abilities have become streamlined a bit as time has gone on. So you still have your in-game rotations similar. But what's the point of having a new player if all they're going to do is currently buy a level skip to level 90? They're going to be bad players currently. So if we're going to try to do a new on-ramp, the problem then, of course, will be with our current Warriors of Light. One of the big questions for Endwalker going in was like, well, are we going to die? That's not a great idea, of course, but that was conjectured, as a way to sort of change things up. So how do we do that going forward without making a whole new game completely?
Well, we've had a stat switch once already. They did that. Well, I think that was Shadowbringers, where they actually
Endwalker.
Was a stat squish? Yeah. So they've technically have a new baseline for how high they can go already. But I could also see them doing like a level squish where they go, okay, you're 100 now. Now, folks, we're going back to 70. And then you can go back up to 80. But that also feels weird, where that feels like now people are going backwards. So I don't know. Like I thought other people go like, well, maybe what they can do is that they'll stop it at level 100, but then maybe they could like give us talent trees and we can start really specking our characters differently. And I'm like, that would be, on a gameplay side, that would be really cool. But on a game balance side, I think Yoshida would shoot them on sight for suggesting it to him.
I mean, really, when you get down to it, the numbers mean less compared to what your rotation is at every tier. And every new tier, they learn to tweak your rotation up to make it a little more complicated. They streamline some parts, but give you another wrinkle to what you do at this tier. So it would be something, like they do with PvP, where they change your abilities up. They would have to do something like that to sort of change rotations and complexity for everybody in a way that, I don't know, would maybe require more than they usually do for a patch cycle.
I absolutely would be 150% okay if they took a lot of what they do in PvP and recontextualized it for PvE usual stuff. Like it is kind of amazing how well they figured out ways to make every class use less abilities, but also can keep their class like concept and essence right there. Like it's like Summoner plays as so much fun, and playing Bard was fun, and they're all fun to play as PvP. But you're only using like 6 or 7 abilities total. Like it's not nearly as complex as the game is normally, but they still capture it.
Yeah.
And if they can pull something like that for actual like PvE rating content, I'd be 100% down if they could pull that off. That'd be great.
I think we will see one button combos at some point.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah, and that's what I've heard a lot, especially and doing PvP. And when you do the even in some of the special like instances, like, when you play as Alice or Alphino, like you have mostly Alice is what I'm thinking, but you have the one button combo.
Exactly. With all the role playing stuff, every single role playing scene does something like that. I remember that shocked me. I think the first one we did was Hien back in Gimli Dark. It was like, whoa, he's taking his combo and they make it one button. And why do we need 3 individual actions of the combo? Because you're never supposed to use it. You only do it on accident. There's no real reason to break your combos, at least that I'm aware of. So yeah, why not make one button combos? Heck yeah.
Well, even in like, for example, for Summoner, both Bahamut and Phoenix operate using these same buttons.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I could totally see them doing more stuff like that. So we'll see. I'm also curious to see what happens with Summoner. Like, it definitely has room to grow. Like everyone feels like it's a good starting point, but how are they going to change it? But also with all my toolbars are already fully laid out. Like I can't put anything new on my bar as it exists right now. They would have to make other abilities do, double duty as far as where my buttons go. So I'm really curious to see what they do with the class to make it grow, to make it change, but without having the chance to actually make whole new abilities that take up its own spots, because I've already got all my spots are filled.
Exactly.
I know other people want different summons, and that'd be cool, but man, I don't know. They promised me new summon eggies for like years, and all they end up being were just a couple different color of carbuncles, and that was it.
Surprised you haven't brought up that, after playing 16, you want that.
Mm.
Well, 16 Clive essentially is a summoner. You're doing not dissimilar things. Like if I have a chance to sit down with Yoshi, people are like, so all right, I play summoner, and Clive's a summoner, right? Like, how much of the development of 16, helped you inform what you decided summoner was going to become now? Like the seeds were there. Like eggy actions were a thing during Shadowbringers. But playing Summoner now and playing 16 now, I definitely feel that there is some sort of synergy happening, whether they realize it or not.
I've got it. It just came to me, Basil, as you were talking. We're going to get Evoker as the other job, and it's going to be my magical tank. You're going to do what Clive does and summon parts of things, and it's going to be my magical tank. I call it right now, Evoker, the new job.
As long as it doesn't yell persona and shoot a gun to his head.
Just don't let Yokotaro do it, because then he'll have us. He will destroy our characters.
But it's funny you mentioned Summoner though, because do we think maybe we're going to get another job rework in 7.0? What job would need a rework? Astro, yeah, I can see that.
Astro, and they've mentioned Dragoon. I don't think Dragoon's going to get the rework that they maybe had planned originally, because a lot of people are like, why? Dragoon's fine. But Astro will get a definite rework.
I can see that.
Yeah, I know. Astro's getting a different rework, and they've said, like Anna's right, where a lot of people are like, why are you reworking Dragoon? But they've said that Dragoon is going to get a significant rework. And in fact, it was supposed to originally, I think, hit the same patch that the Paladin rework happened. But because they wanted it...
Yeah.
Well, they said that what they planned was too intensive for just a patch. They were going to save it for 7.0.
Yeah, same with Astro.
That makes sense.
So we'll see what happens. So we definitely know there's at least one, potentially 2 reworks just right there and then and there. But it also feels weird that if we have another expansion, and Machinist doesn't get completely reworked.
Again,
because it's never played the same way twice in an expansion.
As Summoner?
The Summoner, well, like Summoner, like from ARR to Heaven's Ward is like a direct like line. Like the way that Summoner worked at ARR, its perfected form was Summoner in Heaven's Ward. And trying to add on to it was giving them problems in Stormblood. And then they try to do a mild rework in Shadowbringers, and then realize this really wasn't working, and that's why we got the complete rework that we got in Endwalker. But I would say that the through line from ARR to Heaven's Ward was a direct line of just better Summoner. Like, we got what you probably would have wanted as a Bard in Heaven's Ward.
I got Bomage.
Yeah, like you got the rework that no one liked.
Flame Arrow back. That is what I want for 7.0. I want my Flame Arrow and my Wide Volley back. Although, right now, who knows if I'm going to play a Fizz range next expansion, considering I am currently a Reaper.
Who knows? Who knows what the future holds, but we'll know in a couple of weeks. And y'all will know too, because that's when FanFest will be happening. And if you're going to FanFest, let us know. We'll be around. If you're not going, I'm sorry. I'm sure you wanted to go, but tickets were terrible, and we just really lucked out on ours. Like, none of us should have gotten tickets. We just happen to have other friends who are like, hey, actually, we were lucky, so we're going to give you some of our luck.
That is exactly how I got mine.
All my luck went to Eorzea Symphony afterwards.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, your luck did. I guess I'm lucky in that I got a ticket, but man, some was in the VIP seats.
Yeah, we're all going, but we're sitting nowhere near each other. The symphony.
Nowhere near each other. Like, Anna's in VIP, I'm in the very back, and then Tobias is going to be at the mosh pit. Like, it's... Yeah. Like, he's going to throw hands with violinists. It's going to be great.
There we go.
All right. Any last thoughts before we wrap this up?
No, I think we covered it pretty well. It could be anything, really. Like, I don't want to give predictions because, it could literally be anything at this point. We're going into a whole new arc territory. I think the only thing we could guess is Meracidia, but now that I'm thinking about it, that seems to be the too obvious choice. So I'm second guessing even Meracidia as a thing. But I'm excited to be here. 6.5 is going to be crazy, and 7, whenever that hits, in 6 months, 8 months, we're thinking, right?
No, it'll probably be next summer.
Okay, so about a year.
No extension. Yeah, less than a year, but yeah.
Like, it's weird because... Yeah, well, it is weird because we're thanks to COVID, everything's been thrown off schedule. Like, we used to know exactly when our patches were going to hit. We knew exactly when we were going to get our expansions, and then COVID happened and it delayed everything. And now we're on a new cadence that actually gives them time to like rest for a week before jumping back into it. So, who knows when the actual expansion hits? Like, it could be in the summer, it could be in spring. I wouldn't I would say we could see it in like March at the earliest, but it could be like June or July. Like, who knows?
All I gotta say is it's weird being caught up. I was around. I was around for the Endwalker launch, but I was still doing Heavensward stuff. So like I was present, but not really there. But now that I'm at a point where I can talk on the podcast and make conjectures, and I'm now going to be waiting almost a year for the next thing. But 6.5 is going to last me a long time. It's a weird feeling, to be sure.
Oh yeah, well, and the plus side of that is that you can always play other video games. Like
what other games? What games?
Been freed.
Yeah, I can play 16, the other Yoshida game.
Yeah, the sequel to Heavensward.
yeah, Heavensward too. And And you play other games. There's always going to be, every few months there is yet another, little event as an excuse to come back, even if you don't come back all that often otherwise. And or you could just take a break, and that's okay. Like, this game is designed such that you can take a break and it won't hurt you that much. There are plenty of ways to catch up if you so want to. I don't want you to, because now I have another dungeon buddy I can throw into things, and that's nice.
And map night.
And map night.
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on unsubscribing for a while. It's just too much optional content I need to do, and like I barely scratched the craft and gathering stuff. I would like to at least, kind of really dip my whole leg into crafting and gathering. Maybe not do Omnicrafter kind of stuff, but maybe eventually. But like, I would love to maybe try to do some Savage stuff, for real, and learn to prog a bit. I don't think I'm going to be, Savage Raider for real. But I am at a point now where even the new 90 dungeons are like, okay, I know them. They're kind of boring a little bit to redo them. Kind of fun, but kind of boring now that I know them. So maybe I would love to try some Savage, but there's a lot of stuff to keep me occupied for a while. I can't say that I'm going to never break my subscription in a year or two, but I don't see myself leaving the game currently for a long while yet.
I mean, we've been playing for almost 10 years, and there's still plenty that I want to do, but I still take breaks every now and then, and that, like, Basil will say, like, I will get on my alt and go through story on that just for something different, or I will just play Honkai Star Rail or 16, but I will always get on 14, and I have so much I can still do. I don't have all the current extreme mounts. I don't have the Blue Mage mount, so I'm, Blue Mage. I haven't cleared a Palace of the Dead, despite my many solo attempts.
Yeah, Emma, are you telling me, Anna, that you don't have all the mounts?
I currently do not have all the mounts, no.
Wow.
I mean, Party Finder is terrible. So, have I cleared all the extremes? No. There's one extreme I have not cleared. But it's just how it is. Like, there's always going to be things you can do in this game if you look for it.
And with that, you can find us in the next episode of the Carbuncle Chronicle whenever that happens. But until then, this one has been us. I'm Basil. Anna, thank you for joining us. As always, Anna, my wonderful wife and editor. Thank you, special guest, and maybe now eventual co-host on a regular basis, Tobias.
You've raised me for 3 years. You're not getting rid of me that soon. I can actually speak to things now, indulging on things. So yeah, I probably will be here more regularly for sure.
Yay!
Hopefully Andrew to be back as well.
Right. Our theme song was originally composed by DJ Inabita. You can find his stuff at djinabita.com. The version that we used for the Carbuncle Chronicle was remixed by Anna, who is on the episode. Our website that you can find the Carbuncle Chronicle, as well as all the other Awesome Cast podcasts, is on awesomecast.com. OSMcast.com. Which also includes links to things like our Patreon. If you want to join the Patreon and be a cool person that keeps this podcast going, like Tobias, please throw us some money. If you join at the $5 level, we do other things we call awesome bonuses on occasion that will be extra bits of audio that we recorded separately just to give people more stuff to listen to if they're so inclined. And even just $1 gives you a special color on our Patreon, on our Discord, that you can join. Anyone can join it. But if you give us money, you get a special color for it. So that's cool. Also should point out that if you do $20 a month for 3 months, you can also tell our fellow podcast co-host Kevin what to eat. And it's 3 months because you have to really prove that you want him to eat something, also to pay for my gas, because gas ain't cheap.
And Kevin lives in Buddha.
Yeah. We live in like Limsa, he lives in Ishgard. Like it's a trek.
So you have to drive out there to the force feed Kevin.
We have to shell out the 1,000 gil.
Yeah. We gotta pay like the big teleportation prices. You can always leave us Apple Podcast reviews or stars, I believe, on Spotify. As far as I know, once again, those are the only two places you can do reviews. But if people want to listen to us and want to find us, podcast reviews are the way that people can find out. You can also find the Awesome Cast on various social media platforms. Twitter, I guess it still exists as of this recording, and it might still exist. Who knows? But it's there. I am also on it, and anything else in the world that I can land on at its basal time. You can find Anna most places at Angel Darkfire. The middle A is missing. Tobias you can find on Discord. Whether it be the AwesomeCast the AwesomeCast Discord or the Third Impact Anime Discord, which is also excellent. And just realize that if you join one and you join both, you have to post the same thing in both 14 channels. That's just how it works.
Don't make the rules. Well, Basil does, but I don't.
Apparently. Then finally, I have my own Twitch. It's Basil time. That I will hopefully get more and more into as life calms down. But even then, right now, for example, we're watching 4 dogs. One's ours, 3's are from Anna's sister's family while they do a thing. Then by the time we take them back, we're going to FanFest. And then I'm sleeping for a week because we just went to FanFest.
And I'll be starting my new job at NASA.
Yeah, so life just keeps happening. But whenever I can stream on Twitch, I do, and it's Basil time. So once again, thank you to Anna and Tobias for joining us. Thank you all for listening. And until next time, never, ever forget, you tank the Bone Dragon up north.